ever see my mama. And when I do, I try to spend some time with her, bruh. And that's why I'm late to reporting on this. But it looked like there is big time news coming out about this Project B situation. A lot of people's been blowing me up about it. And what's crazy is that I thought this was fake. I didn't think LeBron or anybody else would be in on this league to compete with the NBA. Yes, this league will be competing with the NBA. Definitely will be competing with the WNBA. And it looked like, this world basketball thing could be happening for real.
Recent developments have emerged regarding Project B, a Saudi Arabia-funded basketball initiative that appears poised to make significant waves in professional women's basketball. Initial skepticism surrounded the venture, particularly regarding whether high-profile figures like LeBron James would genuinely participate in establishing a league position to rival both the NBA and WNBA. However, mounting evidence suggests this competition is becoming reality, potentially fulfilling predictions about genuine global basketball competition following comments from Olympic athletes questioning whether NBA champions deserve the world champion title without facing international opponents. The financial backing from Saudi Arabia indicates substantial resources being deployed for this basketball venture. Latest information reveals the league's operational timeline, with games scheduled from November through April strategically overlapping with the WNBA's off-season period.
Oh, this world basketball thing could be happening for real, because I think Noah Lyles, the track Olympian star, said that that the NBA should not be called world champions because they don't play anybody else in the world, which I gotta agree with them on that. It looked like this whole world thing could be finally getting some competition on a major level because they're putting up big time money for this Saudi Arabia whole thing to go down. Now, I don't know too much about this. That's why I thought this would be a great time for all of us to.
This timing positions the league to attract current WNBA athletes without direct schedule conflicts. Financial terms being discussed are extraordinary by basketball standards. Contract values reaching $50 million have been mentioned for top-tier players, amounts that dwarf current WNBA compensation structures. Such figures raise questions about which athletes might accept these proposals, particularly stars like Caitlin Clark, whose market value continues rising. LeBron James holds ownership interest in this venture, adding legitimacy and star power to the organization.
Time for all of us to hear about this together, which some of y'all might have already heard it, but y'all ain't get my damn take on it. And I'm finna get educated just like some of y'all will be, man. So it's stated updates on the Saudi Arabia basketball league. League is set to start next fall, running from November to April. Damn, this is a full league. During WNBA offseason, already signed WNBA players could offer players up to $50 million. Elena Bird acting as
the league's leadership structure includes Elena Del Don serving as chief basketball officer, with Candace Parker among the investors and advisors. Additional notable figures connected to the project include former athletes Steve Nash, Novak Djokovic, and Simone Biles. Operations will be centered in Singapore, establishing an international headquarters. According to athletic industry sources, negotiations with players have already commenced, with some WNBA athletes reportedly signing contracts. This timing creates challenges for the WNBA, which faces collective bargaining agreement negotiations while most roster members are either on rookie-scale deals or approaching free agency.
NBA players could offer players up to $50 million. Elena Bird acting as chief basketball officer. Candace Parker is also involved. Hold up, $50 million contracts, bro. And y'all think Caitlin Clark ain't finna do this? You think Caitlin Clark ain't finna go get her $50 million? Caitlin Clark hella doing this. I mean, and it's backed by LeBron too. LeBron got some ownership in this league. She finna hella do this, bro. I mean, y'all need broadcasters. You know.
The proposed compensation levels represent multiples of current professional sports salaries across various disciplines, not limited to basketball specifically. Reports suggest compensation packages could reach hundreds of millions collectively across the roster. The competitive landscape grows more complex with these developments. The new league will roster 66 players total. If salary increases reach 10 times current WNBA levels, which would actually represent conservative projections given the funding sources, athletes earning $150,000 in the WNBA would face offers around $1.5 million.
I mean, y'all need broadcasters. You know, I think you call him His Excellence. His Excellence, come get your boy John the Liquidator. Put me at the game, dog. I'ma make it lit. I ain't lying. $50 million. Y'all give me $400K. That's all I need. And I'm gonna make sure the viewers at home stay entertained. Telling you right now, bro, this will be the biggest basketball league to hit the grace earth, guys. I ain't lying.
For rookies like Paige Buchers, who might earn $100,000 during initial years under WNBA contracts, alternative offers could reach $10, $20 million ranges. Questions arise regarding player willingness to relocate to Asia for 6-month periods annually. However, given the extraordinary financial incentives being proposed, geographical considerations may prove secondary for many athletes. The $50 million figure specifically continues generating discussion throughout basketball communities. These developments pose challenges for existing leagues.
$50 million out the gate before any money is made. Just think how much money that is, guys. They haven't even made any damn money yet. So this mean to tell me, Your Excellence, have unlimited funds, bruh. He got unlimited fun. Hold up. Wait a minute, bruh. I seen the thing. Lil Wayne said he went to a concert. Well, he had a concert in Saudi Arabia, and he stated the jet people wouldn't let him get on with his jewelry. And His Excellence.
Project B creates another option beyond unrivaled and traditional WNBA opportunities. The WNBA's attempts to negotiate exclusive playing arrangements appear unlikely to match compensation levels available through Saudi-backed funding. If major stars receive offers comparable to the $50 million example cited, traditional leagues face difficult competitive positions. The broader implications suggest this venture represents serious competition rather than speculative planning. Financial resources appear essentially unlimited given the backing source, as illustrated by anecdotes from entertainment figures describing lavish gifts and gestures from Saudi royalty.
And say, you know what? I am very mad about that. You want a Lamborghini? What color? Red or blue? Lil Wayne said, who, me? Yeah, you, fool, because I want one too. I'm telling you right now, dog. This thing is going to be big. But let's dive into it. It says, how far along is it? WNBA sources tell The Athletic that the new equity has already started negotiating with players, and Burnett confirmed that they have already signed WNBA players to contract.
Whether this translates into sustainable league operations remains uncertain, but initial commitments indicate serious intent. Meanwhile, separate from these business developments, Caitlin Clark recently acknowledged Aliyah Boston's selection to the first-team All-WNBA roster through congratulatory messages. Clark praised Boston's consistency, work ethic, and leadership qualities, expressing appreciation for their time as teammates and anticipation for future seasons together. Boston similarly congratulated fellow players on their honors. The intersection of these storylines creates an intriguing moment in women's basketball.
Already signed WNBA players to contract. The timing for the WNBA cannot be worse, considering that they're due for a CBA negotiation, and almost the entire league is not on rookie skill contracts or free agents right now. Burnett promised salaries multiplies higher than what exists in the WNBA professional. Note, he's saying sport in general, not basketball specifically. Bro, he talking about these contracts is bigger than any damn sport.
Established stars and emerging talents face unprecedented financial opportunities through this new league, while traditional organizations scramble to maintain competitive positioning. Whether athletes ultimately accept these international opportunities and how existing leagues respond will shape professional women's basketball's landscape for years ahead. The fundamental question remains whether compensation packages truly reaching $50 million levels will materialize, and if so, which players will accept them despite geographical and cultural adjustments required. The Las Vegas Aces secured victory against the Phoenix Mercury squad led by Deanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. Reports indicate Phoenix experienced a complete sweep in the series, with Vegas bringing out the proverbial broom to finish them off cleanly.
Healthy, and she plays. All right. I would venture to say, and this is what I was talking about. Be careful with the whole, you decided to rule her out for the entire rest of the season. An 80% Caitlin Clark and this Indiana Fever team probably wins the championship. I mean, look, the hospital squad gave the Aces all they could handle.
An interesting perspective emerges from this postseason. Had Caitlin Clark remained healthy throughout the campaign, the Indiana Fever likely would have captured the WNBA title this year. Even operating at roughly 80% capacity, Clark alongside the Fever roster probably secures the championship trophy. Consider how the injury-depleted Fever squad pushed Vegas to their absolute limits during their matchup. That represented the genuine challenge for the Aces, similar to how the NFC Championship battles during the 1990s between franchises like the 49ers, Cowboys, and Packers essentially determined the ultimate champion, since whichever NFC squad emerged victorious would demolish their AFC opponent in the Super Bowl.
The Aces, all they could handle. That was their true test. Kind of like the old NFC Championship game was the real Super Bowl back in the 90s. 49ers, Cowboys, Packers. I mean, you knew, whatever, 49ers, Packers, that was the Super Bowl. Because, well, whoever won that game was going to destroy the AFC team. I'm just throwing that out. So that leads.
This backdrop makes recent comments from NBA player Patrick Beverley particularly absurd. Beverley posted what might qualify as among the most foolish declarations ever made in athletics. His exact words, "Maybe it's the wine talking, but this Aces squad could genuinely defeat an NBA franchise." The statement defies basic logic. High school all-district squads from regions like East Texas would probably demolish this Aces team by margins of 20 or 30 points. This ranks alongside those perennial claims suggesting elite college football programs could topple the weakest NFL franchises.
Out. So that leads to absolute ignorant takes from an NBA player. An NBA player making one of the dumbest statements. I called it maybe the dumbest statement in the history of sports because, well, Patrick Beverley decided to drop this little gem last night. I don't know if it's the wine, but I really believe this Aces team could be.
Regardless of how many potential lottery picks populate a collegiate roster, NFL teams represent the absolute pinnacle, and any such matchup would result in complete annihilation. Such nonsense stretches credibility to breaking points. The discussion naturally extends to Bonner's situation, particularly considering her departure from the Fever and subsequent results following the previous evening's elimination. Beverly's post generated substantial mockery across social platforms. Responses included observations about questionable sobriety, references to former NBA player Mason Plumlee, and assertions that even elite high school boys programs would cruise past the Aces.
I don't know if it's the wine, but I really believe this Aces team could beat an NBA team. What the literal bleep. I promise you, we got all district teams in high school here in East Texas, win by 20, 30 maybe, and that would give this Aces team hell. Seriously. This is.
Multiple commenters noted the physical disparities. The Aces average roughly 6 mid-1 in height, while NBA rosters like the Hornets average 6 mid. Size differences alone eliminate any competitive possibility before factoring weight, strength, and quickness advantages. Projected scores ranged wildly, with suggestions of 72 mid, 4 or 179 12 outcomes. Questions arose whether the Aces could even reach double digits against professional men.
Seriously. This is one of the dumbest, and you always get some yahoo that'll do it. We hear it all the time. I believe this college football team could beat the worst NFL team. Not a chance in the pits of Hades would that shit happen. We don't care how many potential first-round picks you got. They've determined that's the best of the best. They would get destroyed. This is ludicrous.
The consensus painted Beverly's claim as utterly delusional. These debates surface predictably whenever WNBA teams achieve notable success, triggering discussions that lack grounding in physical reality. Regarding Bonner specifically, the guard abandoned the Fever organization to supposedly join a legitimate contender in Phoenix. Events proved otherwise.
Is ludicrous. It is insanely dumb. And we'll get to DeWanna Bonner because, as you can imagine, after she quit on the Fever, how that went for her after last night's festivities. Let's just look a little at the backlash. You get a little backlash, Pat Bev, this morning. Seriously, chicks dig scars. Yeah, they do. That's a fact. Dumbass. Yeah.
Phoenix assembled what ultimately became an inferior unit compared to Indiana. The injury-riddled Fever pushed Vegas to the brink, while Phoenix provided barely a challenge, getting swept decisively. Bonner reportedly left seeking better opportunities with Thomas, her partner. The league features situations where personal relationships between players influence roster decisions and team selections.
Dumbass. Yeah. Definitely was drunk. No, seriously. Mason Plumlee, if they ran a game, 100. I mean, come on. They couldn't beat a very good high school boys basketball team. Facts. That brother needs help. Yeah. They could beat a team full of Patrick.
Such dynamics raise questions about organizational integrity and contract structures. The irony cuts deep. Had Bonner remained with Indiana, her playing time would have expanded dramatically once injuries struck the roster. Sometimes departures backfire spectacularly, and this situation exemplifies that reality perfectly. Phoenix got dominated thoroughly by the Aces, while the skeleton crew in Indiana nearly upset the eventual finalists.
Yeah. They could beat a team full of Patrick Beverleys. Now that's kind of funny. That is funny. Could they? Hell no. But it is funny. Yeah. Ooh, the Wizards catching some strays. They couldn't beat an NBA coaching staff. Right. It's the wine plus a fat blunt, Pat Bev. Sober up. No way the Aces could beat an NBA team, not even the Utah Jazz.
Bonner traded up for what she perceived as a superior situation, only to experience immediate playoff elimination, while her former squad exceeded expectations despite catastrophic injury circumstances. The postseason results speak volumes about both Beverly's detachment from basketball reality and Bonner's miscalculation regarding franchise trajectories. Vegas demonstrated their caliber by dispatching Phoenix effortlessly, yet that same Vegas team faced genuine adversity against the undermanned Fever squad. The contrasts paint a clear picture of competitive levels and misguided assessments from both an NBA veteran and a departing WNBA player.